Hi, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Wonderlands. To damn you, fucking damn you. I didn't know by moving it in real time, he'd eventually be like, you know, I'm just gonna sit down for 2 seconds and then get up. We're talking about a shield today. Hi, sorry. Coming in hot, but ladies and gentlemen, I just got my hand on a bunch of cool gear because J-Dolt's uploaded an amazing video of an incredible build. It's called the Blastmaster. Love the Blastmaster build, especially when it started with Brick. Blastmaster Brick in the OG game, Borderlands 1 was too fun. But with that came an absolutely busted sham. It's a volatile sham, and what do you call it? It didn't come like this. I re-rolled it to have on spellcast all elemental damage is increased, just because it kind of fits my build a bit better. But this has kind of drastically fixed a lot of the problems with my build, and we'll talk about build refinements in another video, whenever I upload that. Because I tried a lot of stuff, a lot of what you guys suggested, and I was surprised that I think I'm missing a couple things. I think you could get away with a lot of the suggestions people were making if you have a dark magic equivalent of this the pixies, essentially pixies with bolts. Okay, but anyways, on the topic of the best shield, the best bang for your buck kind of shield in the game, it has to be the sham, I think. But there's also some weirder, odder, but still really good builds that revolve around other shields, but nothing quite like the sham. But the sham does have one problem, and that is that dots will eat you alive in this game. Bullets will still hurt you and knock you dead, but the sham does something really, really special, and it just helps you avoid all gun damage, essentially. But it gives you an 80% chance to absorb the bullet, not dealing damage to the shield, and also giving you that ammo resource, which is really, really nice, especially if you have a really, really low quality Torg, which is going to do no damage to you, and you shoot this at your feet with a pretty high leveled up shield, which has like 3,000 capacity when it's doing like a couple thousand or maybe a couple hundred damage, not that bad at all. You're going to be able to tank that or face tank that pretty well. Let me equip the one that does not have an element on it. Yeah, so basically you'd switch a sticky mode, shoot the ground, because we do dark magic damage, but because even the dark magic damage, like damage over time, is so low because the base damage is so low, it doesn't kill us. But basically we regenerate our entire magazine with that, and it does it a little bit for the pistol. Like my pistol weapon sometimes. Well, I'm maxed ammunition right now, but yeah, on the off chance that you do run out of ammunition, you could just swap to this low Torg weapon, shoot the ground, boom. Now you're fully locked and loaded with all this stuff, which is fantastic. The one thing that I did notice is that the thing that kills you in this game is dots. 100%. Dots are mean, especially when you're doing the chaos chambers and you have like 6 on you. They'll rip you to shreds. Or if you get ballsy, and you start using the chaos modifier, the curse, that basically puts pools of elemental damage on the ground. You can take enemies do more damage. You can take enemies that have like a tether attached to them, but the pools of acid on the ground is like by far the worst thing. It's a medium, which is funny, but it's by far the worst enchantment just because of how bad things scale on a Mayhem level 20. But let me prove to you guys the insanity of this shield. Now there are a couple things. Well, first of all, melee you can just run away from, so you're kind of okay with that. Melee damage isn't something you're gonna really equate with, and if it is, it's probably because you're not just jumping backwards, you know? But the thing that makes the sham synchronize perfectly, I think, is any way to get a chunk of your shield back, and it can be as little as 1% of your shield, because that's the thing. The sham has an 80% chance to absorb all damage taken through guns and whatnot, bullets. So as long as you have 1% of your shield, that could last, that 80% chance could detonate 6 times. So that's why, to me, it's completely solved the kind of shittiness of my build when it comes to spell shot if I just get this one thing, which gives you 10% of your ward when you reload, which with our pixies we do instantly. So this is kind of a cool key to power to kind of like, oh, I have 10%, I only have 10, like, what is it, 500 or something, small amount of my shield left, but it goes so far. And you don't have a dot on you, but it goes really far. So we're just gonna throw some of these, and yeah, see that dot lights us up, especially when you're on Chaos level 20. But we've got max health now, and even though we just have a little bit, again, melee damage wrecks us, but even just with that 300%, that little tick, that tick can go as far as a 3,000, because enemies at this level do so much damage to where if you get hit, you're just dropping anyway. But the thing that sucks is sometimes, like, the sham used to be like one of the best things in the game, bar none. But now it's still pretty balanced, even with all things considered. The reason why is because most enemies have an element tied to them, which, yeah, kind of levels the playing field pretty good, pretty good amount. But even still, the fact that we can, like, we're always throwing our Meteors, and the fact that we're always getting that 10% chunk back is pretty wild. The fact that we're also just melting enemies in, like, every kind of way, and yeah, even badass enemies, if we also turn this on, they all die. Oh, also, that was something I heard, again, just want to clarify. I probably should do this in the video where we're talking about our build, not the shield, but basically, we're not making that much use of the glitch where it converts this damage into this, because yeah, even in fact, if we switch these around, you guys can see that it doesn't make or break much of anything. Things still die in the droves, and the bosses still melt. It's because the base damage of the Hydras is so low because they're meant to attack so fast, I believe, but you can still see as soon as my Hydras actually do contact, they melt even badasses. That's a badass pirate, he's getting melted. That's a badass pirate over there. We're not even using our things to scale up even more damage, but the point of the video is to showcase the insanity of the shield. Also, I got a volatile version of our pixies, but it's fucking goddamn cryo. Oh, actually, I have a better version. I rolled a better version that I can poison. But yes, basically not perfect. I would rather this be fire or cryo, because cryo seems like just a fun thing. Just a bunch of iced shards everywhere rather than a bunch of pools of, you know, gross green. But yeah. Also, I didn't mean to activate that first. I guess it doesn't matter because we're just trying to not gamify the glitch aspect of the shield. Look at all these enemies, and look, they're stand still. Fuck me up. Hit me. Come on. Come on. Bullets. Bullets is what I'm looking for. Man, this is probably a bad zone because there's so many like melee enemies. I thought pirate. Now it makes sense. Pirates maybe have a flintlock pistol, but it sucks. Let's go to a place with actual enemies that can shoot at us. We will not break our legs. Oh, but I wanted to get there. Well, it's fine. We'll start here. Okay. So we want to fight enemies with guns. I think they'll be down here. So again, now we have like there's just one throw gets us 1 stack of spell weaving, which gives us 1 stack of our shield, or 10% of our shield, which again, a lot of melee enemies, not what I want. I want people to shit me in my face. God damn it. There we go, bow people, look, he's shooting me, and we're just absorbing all that ammunition. And even if, okay, well, my pixies got him. All right, well, that was, yeah, but see, an elemental thing, but if I throw that, I'm getting a chunk of my shield back every couple seconds. And now we're pretty okay. Also, you're simultaneously boosting your resolve, because it's one of the few shields that, like, just having 1% shield, you still can detonate that 80% chance to ignore damage, and then your shield will start regenerating if you get really lucky. But the fact that we regenerate 10% of our shield every single time we throw, that means we basically have always access to this shield that can go way further. So there's like very few shields that require so little to go so far, if that makes any sense. So just the fact that we have 10,000 is huge. And I think there's one more shield that kind of is useful to us. I don't know if I have it on me. Hopefully I do. Yes, when you cast a spell, you summon a frost rune. Also, it has a really high base capacity. This is just a good tank shield in general. But yeah, this is something to consider. But this one's also pretty good. But basically, every single time we do like any sort of spell cast, there's a chance, but it's on cooldown. And usually, if it's not otherwise specified, it's usually a 5-second cooldown, which a good bit. Anything that has like a set time like limit, to me, it always kind of just proves itself to be significantly lower. Also, I keep forgetting to use my wand, although I guess we're not really using it. Let's do this. Yeah, it's a little rough. That's a little rough. We got up, but yeah. Yeah, this shield, we cast a spell and it said it'll detonate a cryo rune somewhere. I don't know where it did that, but it's apparently doing that. Anyways, yeah, it's not that great. It's not near as good as the Sham, especially the fact that it's volatile is just insanity. Also, I got a cool luck one, which I thought I'll just keep in my pocket, just in case I ever want to stack the deck. But then our question of, okay, again, well, we know what the best shield in the game, or one of the best shield in the game for spell shots, which is shockingly one that's about like gaining ammunition, but it's just because every spell shot usually has this skill right here, which gives you 10% of your reward whenever you get a stack of spell weaving, which you do when you cast a spell or when you throw your weapon. So there's a high chance you're going to be at least getting that 10% of your shield back anyway. So it's a very good shield for spell shots. As far as melee people, well, this is interesting because I haven't felt this in my build, but I haven't felt the need for more damage, or at least if it's a trade-off of survivability, because I find we do plenty of damage. It's just the survivability thing that we'll talk more about in the next video, which I found problems with. Not really problems so much as, again, my one thing was I needed to find a good shield. the sham is the shield, especially if it's volatile. That's insane. Anyways, but this shield right here is also fantastic. While your ward is depleted, gains 17 damage reduction and 100% damage dealt to nearby enemies. This is very, very good. And if you get a better one with the inference of like, instead of full while shield is full, you don't want the shield to be full, so it doesn't feed into itself. But if you add one like HP, that would be huge and very, very good. Although you do have to realize that it's the closeness of the enemy to you is the relevant thing that's going to detonate and get you that huge damage spike. So some of the boss fights are like, you're kind of forced to play a little bit far away from them, and that will kind of nerf this damage a little bit. But you're also massively incentivized to hit no shield. So what you could have done, and this is what we'll showcase in the next video, is you could just not get this. You could basically keep your shield 100% out as much as you want, but then you're all into health. And if you're not like in repairing your health enough, then it just kind of feels like you're not gaining much of anything. But also you still want like the damage skills in here, so it's a little bit like blech. It's a little bit messy, so to speak. The other shield that to me people have been talking about, and it's super good, it is this one right here. But it's when you kill an enemy, you restore 15% of your whole health. So if you have a lot of health, boom, you get a chunk of your health back just by killing one enemy. This does not detonate through the kill skill thing though, even if you're Graveborn. Unlucky. But anyways. But what this also does is when you kill an enemy, you're also going to get 20% bonus fire damage for a short time. Now, unlike certain spells that have like similar wording but not quite, which is on spell cast, increase fire damage. It doesn't say bonus fire damage. Bonus fire damage means whatever you're doing, it's now going to throw whatever the base percentage of flat damage you dealt with your weapon is now going to take 20% of that and convert that into, or add 20% in fire to that base damage algorithm, I guess. Jesus. Anyways, but that one's very good too, and that one actually I find is quite good. The only thing that my problem has never been mobbing with the build that I have with my pixies. The main problem is I sometimes feel like the healing that I'm getting, because you get like 4 dots on you and then you melt. And mind you, I've only ever felt the weakness of my build when I try to break it. But that's also the point of a good build, is you try to break it. So I'll go into the Chaos Chamber, and I'll literally get every single curse I could ever get. We made a whole stream about it. We had like 5 curses, debuffing our what do you call it, our crit damage, and also decreasing our elemental damage by I think 70 or some percent, like just huge, just kneecapping our build, and we were still able to get by. Now mind you, some of the people that I was also playing with had decent builds as well, really good builds, but I've done this also just on my time, and I've still felt the same thing where I'm able to do that. Now, I will say, okay, now we're getting too much into like talking about our build, but we'll talk about that in a whole other video. I'm just trying to talk to you guys about some cool shields that are worth looking out for, and things that you might overlook, but they're actually worth their weight in golds. This one specifically is a really cool intrinsic perfect shield almost, but it's basically on spellcast you get fire damage. My build would be in a whole new place if I could get a TDR pixie that's fire damage. And it's at least chaotic. It doesn't have to be volatile, but it has to be at least chaotic, it at least has to be pixie, and it at least has to be fire, and it at least has to be crossbow bolts increased damage. Which is quite the list. I'm aware, it's a bit selfish, but it is what it is. But unfortunately I've been farming so much of the Chaos Chamber. Haven't gotten much of any pixies even. I'm thinking the game's against me at this point. I'm getting a little, becoming a little baby actually. The other shield that I wish I had a better version of, because just the synchronicity of these is so fun. But this is also an enchantment, so forget about the enchantment, but it's pretty relevant. But regardless, when your shield is depleted, you get movement speed, melee damage, and 35 dark magic bonus while your shield is depleted. Now, the reason why that's really good is you might be like, oh, why do we want melee damage? Well, because there are certain class mods in the game like this, which is basically, it's the opposite of this. So it will say spell damage and ability damage is increased by 50% of your melee damage. So if you're playing a berserker or something who could gain, or a stabomancer who's getting a lot of melee damage, and you happen to get a lot of melee damage on your substats, this can make your spells actually hit really hard, because you're kind of sharing that damage and like converting your best damage to convert your bad damage and make it better. which can be very, very good, especially if you have like, if you're leveling up one metric. Now, with that being said though, to my surprise, and I'll show you guys in the next video, that didn't beat out this, because I think I'm doing a shit ton of dark magic damage, but it didn't beat out my dark magic kill speed with this artifact set on for whatever reason. Anyway, but again, you're wanting your shield to be depleted, and this one actually like lends itself to some survivability because it increases dark magic damage. So if you do the same thing where you take off this, like where you're no longer regenerating your shield, so you're basically always going to be at low health all the time, it's not that bad. It's actually pretty okay. It makes some sense. Now let's stop talking. Let's slap somebody's shield on. Okay, so we have this one. Let's do this. Cast spell, we get fire damage. Now the reason why that's so good, and you guys can see things are dying even faster now, it's because things already die fast, but now we're doing corrosive damage, we're doing blood damage, and now we're doing fire damage based on a percentage of what is already a high corrosion proc, which is this. So things die fast. But also I find when, especially you're in a chaos chamber and you're like stepping in pools of acid, when eventually you take damage, it starts to be a kind of a problem. You start to be like, oh, ow, oh my, okay, shit, please, stop, oh, fuck. Oh, but yeah, we were not using our like, that was something that I tried to do so much in the build video as well, as I tried to make a point to not use like this, to not use the damage amp, just to show you guys how much my pixies were doing on a base. I should let it run out before we do use any more of it. But yeah, because we got a kill, now we're doing fire damage, we're also doing corrosion damage, and we're also doing blood damage. So everything's not lasting 2 seconds regardless. These are not like resistant to an element. Also, we're playing on insane, meaning enemies have a greater resistance to various elements. But this shield is probably, it's like neck and neck. If I have, and I think I'm going to get to a point where my build is going to instantly be able to recover my shield. Let me see, can I show you guys? Yes. No, this is part of it, but not quite. But there's a weird synchronarity thing where you basically will regenerate your shield in 2 seconds, which I don't think I want to use for the, you know, basically become immune. I want to use for this, because if you can keep your shield 100% topped off, you can keep that, then you're basically safe as hell, and you can restore your health, and you're doing blood damage or fire damage bonus, which will be just amazing. So that to me is what I'm thinking, but I need to pace that out in my head a little bit more. Sorry. I haven't been able to, again, there's been a lot of things I've tried and they haven't really % panned out, but this is a great example of the like domino effect. So my pixies are going to kill that thing, and as soon as they lock onto that thing, they're going to nerf that thing. Also, damn it, I didn't mean to activate my thing. I keep trying to throw my pixies, but because I swapped them to show you guys that they're not benefiting from that thing, everything's still dying in two shots. Yeah, see, we're like, yeah, it's just, it's the whole thing. I'm not even shooting, which I do have a buff to shooting things. It is something I want. But yes, this, needless to say, the shield, very, very good, like incredibly good. Also, you're still alive and you're dead in 2 seconds. Jesus Christ. Yeah, so, yeah, I'm just kind of sitting back here, but because if we were to have the sham, what we could do is this. Where is it? Sure, we'll just put on any, doesn't really matter. We'll switch to our non-explosive version of that. We're going to stick the ground a bunch, we're going to let them detonate, and you guys will see that my pistol is getting some bullets. Pretty quick bullets. We don't need that many. Usually we just need to take the bullet ammunition into the encounters, because by running around, we're sucking up, and now we have 55k, or 500 bullets, 630 bullets. So yeah, you never run out of ammunition even with this build. But that is just something nice to kind of have on hand. If you're going into the next chamber and you don't have any bullets, that's actually a problem, because then you won't be able to momentum your way into getting ammunition. So it's a good thing to be like, wait, I have the bazooka shotgun. Blah, blah. Also, I will give you guys an update to the build. I'll upload another save file, but I want to see if I can make a hybrid between spell shot, and we're gonna have to abandon the Graveborn, which I'm not sure if I'll work out as well, because I think I'm getting a lot, like I'm not sure if the damage equation will be worth the safety that resides within Spore Warden. Although maybe it'll balance out, because we're also getting companion buffing. And from our testing, I uploaded that video at this point, we've seen that pixies do benefit from companion scaling. Although I do think in that video, I wanted to make a point to it. I didn't want to correct it because it was all the still relevant information of like damage kept going up, so therefore it means it's working. Mind you, my scaling on everything was weird. Like I think the critical hit that I thought I was hitting was actually the non-crit. And then the low damage was actually just the damage over time effect. But it didn't matter because both numbers went up. So those were the things that that to me signaled that yes, this is benefiting from companion damage. Yes, this is benefiting from XYZ, you know? But the last thing we didn't check, which is, I guess I'll go quickly to show you guys. Actually, maybe I should say that for the next video. Yeah, I think I'll do that. Yeah, because the main point of this video was just talk about the sham and how, like, to me, it, like, I don't think I've heard many people talk about how great the sham works with spell shot specifically, with the fact that if you just chuck one of you, if you reload in any way, if you cast a spell in any way, you're getting a 10% of your shield back, but that's all the sham needs. The sham just needs the smallest tiny metric of shield that you can give it. That's pretty much it. But with that being said, though, having like 3k is not bad because sometimes you'll be stuck with a dot, and the fact that it's chewing through some shield before chewing through you is quite nice. But I digress. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Tiny Tina's Wonderland, baby. And yeah, sham shield is just also there'll be, again, I'm gonna try to make a 2.0 version of our build, and I'll try to get it to you guys lickety split. But I do want to start moving in the direction of a predominant spell user, so something that like you guys can just have fun with spells, but then also see things die, which, you know, sometimes not so great. Sometimes you cast a spell like Glacial Cascade and you'll tickle an enemy and you're like, what the fuck? What's happening? What? Anyways, hopefully you guys do enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much for putting up with me. Subscribe button over there, 2 videos further that way. We will continue to cover the ever-living hell out of Wonderlands. Hopefully I can see more of you. Thank you again, and goodbye.